Hi everyone, welcome to this week's Sky Sports Golf podcast. Or if you're watching, we're in the vodcast studio, everyone, the final vodcast of the season, and we're doing the end of year awards that we do every single year. So if you are listening, go over to YouTube. You can watch us here in the studio. It's also on Sky Sports Golf as well if you are a subscriber. And you can watch all the clips we're going to run in from this year. And to run down the whole year in detail, two juggernauts from Sky Sports Golf for you, David Howell and Rob Lee. Hello. Rob, going to go straight into it. We've got so much to go through. Give us your reflection of 2024.
My reflection of 2024 really is based on two players. One in the men's game in Scotty Scheffler and one in the ladies' game in Nelly Korda. Okay. Two amazing performances that will never, ever be repeated by either of them again.
Oh, a bold statement.
Never.
Bold statement. Okay. Both in green. Beautiful, beautiful green. David, what about you? 2024.
Pretty much there were some stellar performances, no doubt about it. It was a nearly year for Rory, of course. And I think from a DP World Tour perspective, the back nine was an amazing success. Great storylines week on week, culminating in a grand finale down there at the Dubai World Championship. So from a DP World Tour perspective, I think it was really successful during that window of opportunity that we were given.
I can't think of a bad tournament in that back nine.
No,
genuinely, I can't think of one.
By all accounts, all the numbers were up, and it was all plus. Bucking the trend, may I say? The back nine on the DP World Tour. Bucking the trend.
Very true indeed. We'll come on to so much to talk about. We got shot of the year, moment of the year, funny moments of the year. There are going to be things here, everyone, that we would have forgot. We've already talking about this. There's some bits we couldn't remember this year. David couldn't remember who won the Open a minute 5 minutes ago.
Well, as it happens, I did speak to you yesterday, so I think I'm going to forget to come in today. So my memory's not great. Thanks for the reminder.
That's great for a whole 12 months we're looking back on. We're going to do shot of the year, everyone. If we forget things, I apologise. Don't DM me on Instagram or X. DM David instead. We're going to start with a bit of a Rory loving, shall we? Rob, we're going to go to you first. Your first one is the Irish, and it's Rory at the Irish. Do you want to talk us through why you chose this?
So it's shot of the year is so difficult because it's normally contextual, because you might hit the shot of the year on the second of your second round. It'll never be seen again. But when it gets down to the heat of the tournament, this is Rory having to make eagle up the last hole at the Irish Open for a chance for playoff. To thread this ball between those bunkers at about 350 yards, there's not much fairway there width-wise, as you can see when you see that right-hand bunker come into play, was just unbelievable. So that's part one of the eagle that he needed. And then from 191 yards, he stood there, David Howell assures me, with a 7-iron, downwind off the right. I thought it was 8. But this shot in here was just to a front left pin. It was as good as you could have struck an iron shot. Nobody could get close to this. He pitched it on the green and stopped it on what was a firm surface. And unfortunately, the putt just glided past the right edge. But in terms of quality consecutive shots, that's very hard to beat.
He was too clear on the 14th, Rory. Bogeys on 15, 17, and had that obviously left there. And he was at that part of the season where he was so close to everything. Irish, Wentworth against Billy as well. He just US Open as well, except for a few short putts. I mean, we could be talking about Rory instead of Scheffler.
He'd be a 5 or 6 time winner this year, that's right. And this was incredible here at Wentworth as well.
Should we talk about Wentworth straight away, yeah?
Yeah, let's do it, because it's a different thing. Here he's chasing, and now he needs to produce something miraculous over the last 2 holes, which are par 5s at Wentworth. 3 wood to there, and this is 282 yards. And he just flush it. It doesn't run very far onto that. If anyone's played that 17th hole, there's not much to aim at. You don't see a whole lot. So he rips that onto the green, and then he has to make an eagle, and he holds this 45, 50 footer from the right to make the 3 and give himself a chance up the last. Again, in terms of 2 consecutive shots,
amazing.
When you need to produce something, right out the very top draw.
Tristan Lawrence was...
Only for the very fortunate in life, and Rory's very fortunate that he's got that skill set, because not many have.
Exactly. Tristan Lawrence on 20 under at that point, so he matched Tristan, couldn't get the birdie at the last to eventually win it on his own.
Tristan laid up, he didn't go for the green at 17, he hit a great drive, a low piercing fade into the perfect spot, and he laid up with an iron. Talk me through that.
We haven't got enough time, bro.
You've got to take your chance. Take your shot, Dave. Take your shot.
What's weird about that is he is normally the most
aggressive
player in golf. It's very strange. And then eventually in the playoff, he goes and plays the most aggressive shot you've ever seen when he shouldn't have done, because there was no chance he was...
Wrong way round, weren't they?
Wrong way round.
Wrong way round.
Yeah, exactly. The third Rory shot we're going to play in is David's choice. And David just goes to me when I asked him about this. He goes, it's Rory's drive at the last at the DP World Tour Championship. Tell us why you've gone for that.
Well, basically, I mean, it's a lovely segue into it. Is the fact that hang on a minute, is a segue, is that the right word, or Segway?
No, segue is
Segway,
exactly.
yeah, segue,
Well done.
yeah.
Yeah, don't
Yeah.
doubt yourself.
There we go.
It's the
Why
same
did
as
I
the
do
thing.
that?
Same as the thing you ride.
Oh, it's like when you hit slightly duff.
Or you lean forward.
Mouth shut. Anyway, it was
And then
the
go
fact-
like that.
The reason why I picked that was because I just thought, well, he's the brilliance of the Irish Open, but he doesn't win. The US Open, Bryson, he fails there. So Rasmus does him in Ireland, with all those the crowd watching. Billy Horschel does him at Wentworth. It's a year that's not panning out at all, and it's all what's on the line. It's the race to Dubai, and the DP World Tour Championship, and he has to hit that fairway. If he loses to Rasmus Højgaard again, coming up the last,
The noise would have been horrific.
it's an abject disaster for
Yeah.
Rory every year. His fail, you start talking about choking. Can he not get it done? This, that, and the other. Interspersed with all this brilliance when he just not quite got across the line. So for me, well, I was commentating, and I just think I was nervous. I was nervous for him.
Were you?
Oh yeah, I was. This doesn't want to go wrong. Got the creek running through the middle of the fairway. You've only got to tweak it 4 or 5 yards left of your intended line, and it bobbles down into the water.
Yeah.
He makes 6. Højgaard makes 4, and that 18th green presentation has got a whole different scene going on.
And vibe.
And it would have been for Rory and Rory lovers an awful moment. So I thought there was so much pressure on that tee shot, and he hit an absolute worldie, a low bullet cut down the right half. It was the perfect golf shot, and for me, it was all about the context of the whole year leading up to that point. I thought that was just one of the classiest drives I've ever seen. So that was why I picked that moment.
He hit a very similar drive when he won the Players' Championship, like a
Great
5-yard
shout.
fade.
Yeah.
And basically, if you're fading it with a hole that slightly turns the other way, for most of that flight, which was a thick end of 300 yards, it's covering water.
Yeah.
Until at the last bit of its flight, it just turned left to right into the middle of the fairway. Very similar to that.
Yeah, and watching Rory as well, that was as intense as I'd seen since the US Open, maybe, but so it went the wrong way. It was he was thinking it. He knew, like I was thinking, I can't lose. If I lose this one, I might cry.
Yeah.
This is gonna hurt. He did cry. He cried with joy. And he probably would have been in tears the other way around had that had gone wrong. Because you know that as a golfer, don't you? When I'm going to feel sick here. I've stood on golf course before. This is really gonna hurt.
I think Rory does a
thought
great job.
Yeah.
I think you're right what you say, and I think Rory does a great job, mostly to bat stuff away.
Yeah.
A lot of social media noise and a lot of voices, everything, because he's so scrutinised and he's carrying, as Dave said, all those nearly moments from a whole year where he played some phenomenal golf and hadn't got the W's that backed up how he'd played. And there was a lot riding on that last hole.
Yes.
He makes 4, doesn't he? But the tee shot to set that up was so important. And Rory has, I know, for all the roller coaster rides that we emotionally go when we follow Rory, because the joy of Rory is he might do something. It's not going to be it's not a procession, and nothing's a guarantee.
Yeah.
So you're always slightly on edge watching him, because you make the journey with him. And when he hit the tee shot up the last, then I thought he got the job done. But it was a fantastic shot. Contextually, it was right out as good as it could be.
Yeah, and it's a bit like Jordan or one of the great basketball players. They always want the 3-pointer at the end to win or lose a match. Rory gets himself in that situation 5, 6, 7, 8 times a year. This year, he kept missing. He kept hitting the rim. He didn't get one, and this was last chance saloon in 2024. Had to get it on the fairway, and he did.
I'll give you a Rory stat: 125 top 10s on the PGA Tour, 26 wins. That means there's a conversion rate which is very high in there.
That's nuts.
Yeah, that is pretty amazing.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're a sponsor and you pay Rory to come along, more often than not, he's there.
Yeah.
You're getting value for money from him. He's either he's in there trying to win, or he's shooting something silly to come through the field or whatever. He's box office, isn't he? Rory is the needle.
He is the needle. We might come on to Rory when we talk about next year. Later
Bryson's
in the
the
show.
second needle.
Bryson is the second needle, which we'll come on to in a minute. I want to talk about one more driver, which was one of my special mentions, and that was Ben Arn's driver off the deck. He won at the Genesis in Korea, beat Tom Kim. A few weeks ago, we were recording this at the end of November, everybody. Par 5 15th. He had 290 left here into the pin. Water guarded the whole of this green. David, this is a special shot and not an easy shot.
No, it was as aggressive as it comes. These modern drivers are big. We know that he just
That's amazing.
absolutely nutted it.
Yeah.
It came from nowhere. No one else was taking that shot on.
No.
They were laying up. They were bailing out right. He's as long as they come.
It's a
He
long
is
way.
sneaky long, Ben Arn. Yeah.
He's got this stat, haven't they? I mean, that was off the deck, obviously, but off the tee, he gets more out of his ball flight per clubhead speed than
Because
any
his
person.
smash factor's as good as
His
anyone.
smash factor and his flight. It's like when you used to play the
Low
athletics
spin.
game, when you used to get the javelin going up at the right,
Yeah.
you know, the
Right.
speed and the
Yeah.
angle right. His launch conditions absolutely perfect.
He plays that shot a lot, he says, driving
Right.
for the deck. And he
Doesn't
said
carry a
he's...
3-wood.
No, he doesn't. And he said he can play that easily, that shot. For
Yeah,
mere mortals...
Nothing easy about that, let me tell you.
For mere mortals like me and most people watching, no one plays that shot.
You know
We
what's
don't play that.
interesting? When you see him addressing the ball, like Dave said, drives are so big. You cannot see any of the ball. All you can see is the ball is, it's not even coming halfway up the driver face. It is quite amazing, and driver faces are not dead flat. There's a little
Exactly,
bit of
an
roll and bulge on there, a little bit. So the lower down you hit it, the less loft is on the club.
Well, and imagine not carrying a 3-wood. Or so
I know.
his driver 2-iron.
The driving
or-
on, whatever,
yeah,
whatever
yeah,
you call
or
it.
Or
Yeah.
5-wood, something like that. Yeah.
Oh well, if he's got a 5-wood in.
Yeah,
So,
well,
okay.
it's
I was
fine.
thinking, irons then driver.
I don't think so. Not in Ben Arn's bag. I don't think so. I think he's got a 5-wood of some kind, or 7-wood. Some players carry 7-woods now. Shall we come on to? I think this is going to be shot of the year. I think we've given this to him already. Although I think David Howell might disagree in a bit. We're going to go to the US Open, Pinehurst number 2.
What do you mean we've given it a shot? What is that we've given it? I thought we just asked our version of it.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, but
We're
We're just rubbishing it
The
now.
committee has to sit
Oh, I
and
see. Oh, I see.
and see. So we're going to go to the US Open. This is Bryson, 72nd hole. That's his third shot to the par 4 last. I mean, Rob, in the moment, the context, that is a pretty insane shot, I'm going to say.
Yeah, the one thing in his favour was, I don't know, was it 60 yards or something like that?
55 yards.
Okay, so there's a massive downslope that as long as he carried the crown, it would release somewhere up there near the hole. He had quite a lot of latitude, but given the moment and knowing he had to make 4 and leave it underneath the hole, these are all things you can't control from that distance. It's pretty amazing.
But the stats say that pros get it that close from that distance 1.5% of the time.
I was going to say 1 in 100, so that's pretty close.
Yeah, that's close.
Indeed,
And
but
you put the context, that tournament, the position he was in.
If that
Rory,
was a flat 55 yards, that was a flat green, no hazards, just flat 55 yarder. He never gets it the 3 or 4 feet.
Yeah, the contours are in play.
Oh yeah,
But it was amazing.
yeah, it was.
But I remember watching it, live just as a fan watching it. I think, he's got a chance here because he lands on that down.
yeah.
It's going to go to.
and it's rock hard.
Yeah.
20, I was going to be surprised if he didn't get it within 20 feet. Well, having to go to 3 feet, didn't he? Which was amazing.
He's going to have a putt to win, isn't he?
Yes.
Guaranteed putt to
Yeah.
win.
Yeah.
And okay, if I got to play off, I got to play off. But I'm going to give myself a putt to win.
Yeah.
It just turned out better than he could have ever thought.
Oh, I mean, well, it was amazing, wasn't it?
There was that
You know,
last
like you say,
half
it's
an
all-
hour.
It's all the context.
Yeah.
isn't it?
He's just did 150 shots over his house online, and none of them got as close as that, apart from the one he hole.
What's the best bunker shot? So I'm going to go off tangent here.
Wow.
Best bunker shot in major history. Got Sandy in '88 at the Masters. I'm going to add Matt Fitzpatrick for his US Open win on the 72nd hole. Are we adding Bryson in as well? So I've put that on you. I didn't prep you for that.
Yeah, well, Sandy's is iconic, isn't it?
Yeah.
No doubt about that. So that was, and the nice thing about that was, it was an amazing shot, but it's all there in front of him, wasn't it? It's just whatever 170, 8-iron up the hill, whatever he hit, brilliant, and he polished off with a putt. So
Yeah.
that was. I was about 14 when he did that. I'd still go with that.
Okay.
Sure.
Rob's having to think here. Are you thinking of others, Rob?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. of
Yeah,
another one.
didn't Paul Azinger hold a bunker shot on the final green somewhere?
That was Ryder Cup, wasn't
Was
it?
that Ryder Cup?
Against-
Belfry,
Yeah,
was
that
it?
was the
Was that
Belfry.
when they tried to?
Yeah,
high
that's
five
it. The worst high
That's
five
when that
ever.
was.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'd have to. I mean, God,
Has anyone hold a bunker
Tiger
shot
must
with
have
him?
held
Tiger
some
must have,
ridiculous
yeah,
bunker shots.
yeah.
Gary Player, any Spanish person, Sevi.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I've
Anyway, what's your
landed
next
that on you. No, that's a next off
That
the
was
cuff
pretty good.
question.
That
I
was
think
pretty
that's
good,
up there for me,
is.
Bryson. Should we say Bryson?
Because it's the
But
final green.
I feel it's the final green with Rory there, obviously, and what happened with Rory. We're not going to go into that now. That's maybe another conversation for another podcast with all of that. But I think for the context, for everything there, I think Bryson's was pretty special.
Committee has spoken.
It sounds
Apparently
like
it
it's
does.
a committee of one. doesn't it?
Yes.
I'm surprised we came in. I'm not sure why we're here.
Well,
I don't
just as
really
validation,
know.
really.
Yeah, it
Validation,
is, really.
yeah, just sort of background noise.
Yeah, I think so. I'm happy to go with that.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Bryson, if you want to come and collect the award, just come into Sky Studios. We'll award it to you.
What have you got lined up for Bryson? What is there that you
as an
could
award-
add to? What can you add to his life? What
Not
have you
much
got?
at the moment.
Nothing.
With his
Okay.
content he's producing. Not much,
Okay,
unfortunately.
right,
You can have a
okay.
coffee in the cafe here with us.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think because it's the last green and you win a major with it, and it's got that closure that you need.
Okay.
I thought he was going to have a nicer back garden.
Or the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
He's
think
kind
he's
of
a
ruined it with
gardener.
the green. He's got nowhere to kick a football round.
I don't think he's a gardener.
No.
I just have a feeling Bryson's got time.
I didn't quite get it.
No.
Where's the
He
point?
might have some veg patches around the corner.
I got to say, his house didn't upset me. It did not
Oh,
upset
lovely.
me, Dave.
No, amazing
Yeah,
house.
yeah.
But I just thought, I don't know.
Well, you
I
can't
was
get
just-
you
I
can't
was
get
a
the
bit,
staff, Dave. You can't get the staff.
A little bit. Just sorry, Bryce.
That's
lovely,
right,
lovely
Bryce.
pad.
Apart
Happy
from
to
that,
come
great
round
place, Bryson.
when you want, but I just thought that I don't know.
I wonder where he was. Was it 16 when he finally? Was it 16?
Yes, 16.
So I wonder where was he willing to go?
Well,
Now, because you could stand at the edge of a green trying to chip a ball in, and I just couldn't chip it in. What did he go to?
April?
55.
Yeah, April.
Day 55. Where would he go to?
Not playing the US Open
Yes.
because I'm 9,000th shot. and a bit of a mishap when he nearly holed it the day before, but the balls
And
were
it
getting in the
came-
way.
I
What
know,
was that all
yeah,
about? Come
yeah.
on, man, get the guy off the roof. And
He had his mate on the back at the back of the
Yeah,
garden game.
brilliant,
foot
though.
right,
It is
foot
great.
left,
I mean,
foot
what
right.
a great
we could talk
idea.
about this for a long
Yeah,
time because I'm a big
yeah.
fan of Bryson. I've said
My
it for a long
boys
time.
tried it the other day at home.
There you go.
Yeah,
That's what
you
you're
go.
doing.
Cost you
Yeah.
800 quid.
Yeah. Not overly a great start.
Hi everyone, I've just stepped out of the vodcast studio for a few moments and we've got a little bit coming up now for people listening on the audio podcast and YouTube only. As you can see, well, people watching can see, look at that for a view. I'm actually at the Ned Bank, everyone. This has been recorded just about a week before the end of year review comes out. I thought I'd ask some of the guests we've had over the year to ask for their special moment, shot of the year, moment of the year, and a few of them have done a fantastic job. Here they are.
Hi Josh, Alex from Bunkered here, but you know that, we're friends. I'm sure you've already spoken at length about Bryson DeChambeau's wonderful US Open victory at Pinehurst, but I just want to throw into the mix the way he has reinvented himself away from the golf course. Every time this guy posts a video on any of his social media channels, we are all absolutely hooked, and the numbers are showing it. There was an argument earlier this year about whether or not he is the best golfer on the planet. I think it's really hard to argue that he is not the most popular. Huge fan. Also a huge fan of the Sky Sports Golf podcast. Thank you for having me on. Always enjoy coming on and chatting with you. And it's paid for Christmas, so cheers.
Well, 2024 was a great season, and one that comes to mind, my best shot of the year was definitely Rory McIlroy. This hole, the 12th as you know it, the par 5, you know, the guys hit it over the trees, hit a monster down there, got a 9-iron in the hand. You know what happens, it's an absolute cracking shot. Straight down it, doesn't leave the flag, but where does the head go? Straight down the middle of the fairway, nearly hits me on the left hand side. I pick it up, hand it back to him. He would miss the putt for eagle, but that was my favourite shot of the year.
Hi there, Sophie Walker here. My shot of the year is Lydia Ko's approach shot at the Old Course on the 18th to win the AIG Women's Open. She had a lob wedge in her hand, it was a good number, and there is nobody better. I have never been more sure that she was going to get up and down. And I was stood on the left-hand side of the fairway to witness it all. It was a goosebumps moment, and I'm so pleased I got to see it and call it.
Hi everybody, Spency here. First thing that comes to my mind is when David Howell introduced himself to Keita Nakajima at Ras Al Khaimah earlier in the year and he totally blanked him, which still makes me laugh. It just makes me laugh. It was funny. Because David wants to talk to everybody. So that was great, Howler. Well done. Secondly, was the Saturday of the Open. I've never been so wet or cold on a golf course in my life. That was horrific. And how they played golf in it, I do not know. But my number one memory is, it just came from the other week watching McIlroy, Rory. It was in practice, he hit 3-wood into the 18th from 280 or something. And it was like something off a you know, TV game, the way he played this shot. It was unbelievable. And then he repeated it, I think it was the second round with a pin on the right, just cut it in. He just does things that well, I can only dream of. So my overabiding golfing memory is Rory.
Okay, we're going to do breakout player of the year now. This could be someone who's either made a comeback, it's almost a standout player, I would say, of the year. We've kind of turning it into. And one standout, it's Rob's choice. It's in the women's game, Nelly Korda, who's had an incredible 2024. Outstanding, Rob. You mentioned her at the top of the show. 7 wins, which included 5 in a row. Why is she
6 in 7? 5
that-
in a row, and then a gap, and then or one gap, 5 in a row. Ridiculous. She'll never do that again.
No.
Never going to win 5 in a row again.
It's even in the history of golf. That's not really comparable with many.
That's Tiger-esque.
Exactly.
Is what that is. Getting that many wins on the bounce like that. Winning once, as Dave will tell you, is hard to do. And you do. There is a kind of not being arrogance, but there is a kind of acceptance. So you win, and then you do kind of think, I can see myself doing well this week, and then so she wins the second week, and then she will have got to a point in that run where she was expecting to win. And that in golf is super rare. Just super, super rare. So I think in terms of she did something this year which has projected her forward from her normal brilliance in the game. Very, very special. Very special year. And then she had a little wobble, and then she...
3 miscuts in a row she had.
Yeah.
Would you have expected
Only
that?
2 majors so far.
Yeah, the second major this year, yeah.
But that's going to change. She's incredible.
I think what's amazing about that is so hard. Like you mentioned, Tiger-esque. It's so hard to be so much better than everybody else that actually, and Nelly there and Tiger in days gone by, if I turn up and I do me, I'm going to win because I play for 4 rounds. It's enough golf. I will, I'm the fastest. Usain Bolt used to win, didn't he? Because he was faster. But that's so rare, isn't it? To actually fundamentally be better than everybody else.
In that run, she was getting to the point where if you like to bet, I'm sure you both don't like to bet.
No, of course not.
But if you like to bet, you would think, will I take the field or will I take Nelly?
Yeah.
Now that
is Tiger-esque. That's what Tiger used to do.
Tiger used to be. Am I going to take Tiger or take the field? And that's how dominant she was in that run.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible. Yeah. Just a superb. I love watching her.
She's incredible. An amazing stat that I saw this yesterday. So people will love their strokes gained stats. I know people don't. Last year, her strokes gained across all her areas of game were 1.68. This year's gone up to 2.49. That's a massive jump in 12 months. Huge jump.
People just have to take your word for that.
They do.
Because
they will.
You got the 0.46 and the 0.52.
Of what?
And when you're sitting at home and it washes over you, it's like...
Does that not just mean she's dropped her handicap by a shot?
I think so.
Is that what?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's that new handicap system. It's awful.
It's past
England
68s for her
Every
now.
time you play someone at your golf club, what's your handicap? They'll go like 10. So how many shots you getting? 14?
Yeah.
What?
Oh, but
where'd the 4 come from?
But we digress somewhat. But they always say I'm 7. They all know the exactness. 7.9.
Yeah.
It's a new thing in golf. Anyway, but yeah, she's
sorry,
played well.
Can I ask, how hard is it for her to be next year to back up what she did this year?
I don't think when she goes into next year, she starts thinking, "No, I've got to now better what I did this year." Keep them as capsules. This year was this year. I played my best that I could play, and this is how it turned out. And you turn up on Jan 1 next year and do the same thing. And at the end of the year, have a look and see what you did. But you can't go into it thinking, "Wow, I won 5 in a row. If I don't win at least 5 in a row at some point this year, I'm playing worse." You can't go into it thinking like that.
She was
Next
brilliant.
year, new year, let's go.
She was great at Solheim. I mean, Charlie gave her a lesson on the Sunday, but Nelly was fantastic at the Solheim. She almost led the team, it felt like, for the USA when they did win the Solheim this year. A few more breakout comeback players. One I want to mention. If we did a story of the year, I think this guy might win.
How long's this podcast, by the way?
I know there's a lot of editing going to happen here, Rob. Matteo Manassero. At the age of 26, he quit golf. Then he came back through the Nordic League, the Alps Tour, the Challenge Tour. And then this year, in South Africa, David, at the Johnson Workwear, he was a winner once again. First time since 2013 where he won at Wentworth.
Yeah, that was the feel-good moment of all time, wasn't it? If you like your golf, it was just amazing. And he's such a lovely guy.
Yeah.
It was heartbreaking to see him lose his game completely. And just goes to show what you can do if you just calm down and believe in yourself and try to make some good decisions. He'd made some bad ones, you make some good ones, and it's always in there. It's within all these people.
He
isn't
wins
it?
4 tournaments as a teenager.
I know.
Yeah.
4 tournaments.
That's crazy.
It's just it's
Okay, what
otherworldly.
was different this year about Manassero then? Is it just the putting, which has obviously changed a lot?
Well, no. Listen, he got back on the treadmill, didn't he? He was progressing. building confidence, gets your tour challenge tour. It's like it's like a capsule. You know, the old one was gone, and now he's on a new journey. And this was the 30-something-year-old Matteo, and he was back on tour, excited to be out there. And once he got out back on tour, not surprised that he played as well as he did. You know, because he's on an upward trend, isn't he? So it's just a new, mature Matteo Manassero putting the past behind him.
And a PJ Tour card next season.
Yes,
That's incredible.
It is incredible.
Yeah.
The journey is incredible. But I think, you know, the automatic notion that I've got a PJ Tour card, it'll be a great thing for me to go and spend a year in the States. Not necessarily.
No.
It's not a bolted on thing. You can regress doing that.
There's a couple this year who
You're going to go
didn't enjoy
there
it.
with guys, animals that can fly at 320, 330. You know, there's a lot. You know, we're here in Europe, and America's got an awful lot of really good players, guys that know the golf courses. Matteo's going to be going to venues he doesn't know very much. He's going to have to find the base, and it's not easy.
Not courses like Glendower.
No.
Was it Glendower?
Yeah,
which is,
yeah.
you know, I mean, it's not short because but the altitude makes it short. So yeah, I'm with you. It needs to be a little bit careful how next year pans out.
We've got to think,
and do you know
really got to
what?
think
All
about
our
it.
players that get the opportunity to go
Yeah.
up there, it hasn't got to be the be all and end all.
No.
They're winning millions of pounds on the DP World Tour, happy spending time with their families. It's an opportunity, but it's not. You don't have to.
No, you don't have
grab
to.
it. You can take it how you want, and if it's not for you, you know, then just step back and come back to home turf and get on with it. Difficult to do with all the riches on offer, of course, and the drive that all these guys have got within them. But need to tread with caution.
We should mention there's an actual proper breakout. Joe Dean on the DP World Tour. He's gone from Morrison's, delivering at Morrison's, to the DP World Tour Championship in less than 12 months.
What's Morrison's? Waitrose.
You like Jamie Spence?
Morrison's?
Like, just he doesn't even know what that means.
I did
I thought it was only Waitrose.
I did go in the other day to
What, you
I
may
did,
take a wrong turn or
Yeah,
something?
no, I parked and I walked across the road
Very
and
good.
I went to Waitrose.
Oh, very. I know exactly
Sorry.
I know exactly what you mean.
So for people who don't know, Joe Dean came through Q School last year, and he couldn't make ends meet, and he couldn't afford the travel to go to some of the events. Got to Kenya, came second, got 170 grand, and from then on, he has just been amazing. 3 top 5 this year, apart from Kenya. Got to the DP World Tour Championship. And the other great thing about Joe, and I know this blows your minds, doesn't practice before a
I
round.
bet he practiced more when he was driving the van than he does when he turns up at a tournament. He doesn't hit a practice shot.
So people who don't know, he doesn't go to the range before, and he hits a couple of putts before a round, and that's it.
Well, Tuesday, Wednesday practices, right?
Yes,
but
yeah.
he doesn't go to the range.
No
to
warm up,
to
nothing.
practice.
Few
That
stretches.
is remarkable.
Yeah.
Do you know
Doesn't go
any?
on the range afterwards.
Do you know any other pro that does that or has done that before?
Monty had a little bit of that at times. If
Yeah.
it was really hot, he just, because he was so loose anyway, a couple of putts and you're going to practice. Well, I don't even know where the range is. It was one of those
Yeah,
jobs. with
Switzerland.
Monty.
He did famously win Switzerland many moons ago, Monty, without going to the range. Just warmed up in the net. That was late 90s. But no one does that. It's brilliant. Strength of mind.
Incredible.
That's,
Amazing.
That's the impressive thing to stand out and not follow the trend.
Yeah.
Is really impressive. It's great.
Lovely guy.
And everyone else has got guilt. They go to the range for guilt purposes. If I don't go to the range, I can't say I tried my best, so I better go to the range. And you just go through the motions. Sometimes it actually doesn't do you any good, the range.
No,
Amazing.
Sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
Telling me. 7 million balls wasted.
Yeah, he could have done Joe
Three
Dean.
decades.
There you go. He
Yeah.
could have been Joe Dean. Yeah, he's an amazing season, Joe. Lovely guy as well. He's there next year or two. So good luck to Joe. David's moment of the year, breakout play of the year, and it's mine too. Mine, because I was there. This is the best Sunday I've ever experienced on the DP World Tour, and it's Angel Hidalgo winning the Spanish Open on home turf against John Rahm, David v Goliath. David, this was, I can't tell you how good this was. This atmosphere is nothing like I've ever experienced.
Oh, well, it was amazing, wasn't it? As you primed it nicely, David versus Goliath in Madrid. And what a competitor, and the style and the panache he does it with is remarkable. And he's got that winning mentality.
He's got a bit of oomph, hasn't he?
He's got a bit of vavavoom.
He has.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
And I mean, we need a stylist, all the crazy shots. And there's John. Look at that. That is literally like something out of Gladiator, David versus Goliath, isn't it?
It was fantastic. And 2 years ago,
Me there, isn't it?
2 years ago, Hidalgo was watching John Rahm up a tree as a spectator. 2 years ago. was
John
watching.
Rahm was up a tree.
No, Hidalgo was up
Got
a
you.
tree as a
Oh,
spectator
to get a view.
to get a view watching his hero.
He's short.
He is short. That's
extreme
true.
measures, isn't it?
Yeah.
Putting skills.
Yeah,
But-
under the rope, maybe just in front of the crowd.
No,
on
he
his
couldn't.
knees.
He could. He was up the tree. He said, watching his Rahm win another Spanish Open. Then 2 years later, he's beating his hero.
One, that's the biggest thing you can ever do is to beat your hero, the person that inspires you. That doesn't get any better than that. There'll never be a better day in Angel's
Especially
golfing life.
in his home country.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was
It all came
Brilliant.
together for him, and I so enjoyed watching him play.
He's box office.
Yeah,
I think he is box
he was
office.
terrific. You know, we need more of that. More.
Yeah, the finishes. I
Yeah.
All out.
the one that where was it down in the south of Spain?
Andalusia.
Andalusia. When he stabs it into the ground and it stops a foot past his left foot. I don't know. I tried that on the range the other day. I can't stop it until about another 3 feet of my follow through has gone.
I wish we had that
Most
clip. I know exactly
remarkable.
what
It'd
he
be
was.
good if we did, wouldn't it?
Yeah, unfortunately,
Next year,
we don't.
maybe.
Next year.
Yeah.
He is, but the thing is, though, he wasn't just doing that for the Spanish Open. He does it every week. That's his style. High fives to everyone. That's
Yeah.
his style. He wasn't doing it just for that week.
No,
that is him.
That's the
Yeah.
way he rolls. But
Yeah.
it's the first time I think a lot of people that watch golf got to see him and concentrate on him because he'd be very much part of the field or whatever. And you see a couple of odd shots in the coverage. You got to see his, the entire act and how brave he was. It was a fantastic week.
Amazing.
Good word, that brave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About the way he won that. I like that.
I should say he missed quite a short putt in regulation to win it, and he shook his hand. He did this with his hands afterwards because he was so nervous, just trying to get the nerves out of it. So he did well to come back in the playoff. I think a 2-hole playoff in the end to beat Rahm. But that was a special moment. I do 2 special mentions. No clips. Xander Schauffele. We've hardly spoken about major golf yet, really, apart from Bryson. He's won 2 majors this year. He's halfway to the Grand Slam. I mean, he won the Open, by the way, David.
Yes.
He was 8th at the Masters and 7th at the US Open this year. Won the PGA, won the Open. He has had some year, really, for a guy that's always been the nearly man in majors, especially. Because he's won multiple PGA Tour titles. He has had some year.
He's a good player. I mean,
Oh.
he's so enigmatic. David couldn't remember he won the Open.
What was the other? Oh, PGA. Yeah, that was. Well, if he doesn't hold the 6-footer on the last at the PGA, he doesn't win.
I still don't know how that went in, by the way.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Like, classy way. Need a birdie at the last.
Yeah.
Finds it. Finally gets it done. He's brilliant, isn't he?
Oh, he's a fabulous golfer.
Yeah.
Hasn't got a
no-
weakness. Can't think of a weakness he's
Yeah.
got, really.
I think his putting has got better again.
Yeah.
There was a time where he was, let's say last year, I thought his putting had slipped away a little bit, or he didn't appear to me that they just, Dave, you see guys that can't hold putts, they're just not running at the hole. They're just, and his putts look like that to me. They're a little bit limp and lacking a bit of willing. And then I saw him this year, and I thought, oh, he's a bit more on the front foot with his putting. And obviously, you've got to putt well to win tournaments. But if you have a 1 major season, that is an amazing year. If you have a 2 major season, that's career defining. He'll never do that again.
No. I mean, I don't want to. He could. US Open, his record at the US Open is crazy good. So he could win that this year. He's got the Masters left.
He's only got
history.
155 people to beat. Do you want Xander and I'll have the field?
Yeah, should we do that? Are we at
Yeah.
that point, are we, with him in majors?
Yeah.
Last mention, Matthew Pavon. Breakout on the PGA Tour anyway. For a guy who only just got his PGA Tour card because of that run of birdies at the DP World Tour Championship the year before,
Yeah.
and then he wins at the Farmers. First Frenchman, I can't remember when, since who.
You could have mentioned his 3rd shot to the 18th out the thick gunge on the left-hand side
Yeah.
as maybe potentially one of the shots of the year.
Great shout.
Because
Great shout.
I think he hit, I don't know why I think it was a 7-iron he hit.
No.
No,
Was
it
it-
was
are you
it
sure?
was closer
Yeah,
than
well,
that. Yeah.
Sure.
I'm
Yeah,
fairly sure.
but over the water to a front left pin, it was a
But
great
I know
shot.
he was in trouble because he was left and shorter than he wanted to be.
Yeah.
When he heaved it onto the green and hold it from what, I don't know, 10
Yeah.
feet, 12 feet.
Amazing.
Yeah, amazing.
And then he did. I want to say he came.
Amazing
US
rise,
Open.
really.
US Open. He
Yeah.
was top 5, wasn't he?
He was
I mean,
second or third
you
at
know-
Pebble as well. Something like that. As the top of
You
my
talk
head.
about the 10 cards for the DP World Tour players and what it can be for you. So for Matthew Pavon, it was the making of him, really.
Yeah, it
I mean,
really.
you know, you win on. That's a hard golf course.
Oh, it's
Torrey
damn
Pines
hard.
is a hard golf course.
Damn hard. If the wind blows there, we've been there, Rob. It is really difficult.
Yeah, I think another 10 going this year, and we'll see more winners. We'll see more people. Eventually, it's a zero-sum game, isn't it? And
Of course,
if everyone goes,
yeah.
the guys going up won't be good enough. Interestingly enough, 100 cards being kept on the PGA Tour this
Yeah.
year, so it's going to be more difficult for those getting promoted this year to keep their playing rights. But we'll see some more victories from our boys this year, no doubt about that. I'm sure of it.
I think
You think so?
I do.
You sure of it?
I do as
Not-
well.
Not our established players. You're talking about the new 10 that are going there.
Someone-
you think
yeah,
sure one of those
do you
10
know
will win
what?
There's
Do you know
one.
what,
There's one.
Alan?
Really?
There's
The
one
more-
for me that I think's
The
going
more,
to.
the more
Huh?
they,
I'll come on to him later. There's one I
the
think.
more they're hanging around with each other, it just gets easier for them because they're in the surroundings become, slightly more familiar. The more of them they are there, and if Matthew can win, then they'll start thinking, well, why can't I? Bob's won a couple, I beat him. It just gets a bit easier mentally, I think.
Yeah, okay. Well,
I-
write that down. David Howell said that one of the 10, the guaranteed one, they're going to, one of them's going to win. somewhere.
Definitely.
I don't see that.
I think we should give Nelly Corder, even though it's not a breakout season or a new season.
We haven't spoken about Scotty Scheffler yet.
We haven't even talked about Scotty yet.
Right.
He's later in another completely different context.
Right,
Got nothing
okay.
to do with golf.
Okay.
But for the season she's had, as you said, you can't compare it to many in golfing history.
No.
I think that's just an outstanding season.
Oh, she has been incredible, and I think performances like that really helped to put women's golf on the map. She's a modern icon now in the ladies' game, and she's still young. She's so very young. There's so much more to come from her, especially in the major count. Especially in the major count.
Much
Yeah.
more to come
Yeah.
from Nelly. Nelly, well done. Breakout player of the year.
Yeah.
Come and get a trophy whenever you like. Okay, we're going to...
You've got anything special for Nelly?
No,
'Cause-
nothing. No,
nothing.
her and Bryson. Everyone's
Her-
getting the same thing.
They are.
Everyone gets the same thing.
Stately home. Okay.
No, it's going to be one hell of a coffee morning. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
it is, yeah,
By the
yeah.
way, we're not invited. It's just Josh with all the legends of the game.
Trust me,
There's the
trust me,
sky.
Josh will be on his own.
Yeah, I will be on my own.
Boy,
Yeah,
you'll be on your own.
I
I
definitely.
can't believe Nelly never turned up.
Yeah, saying things like, Howell doesn't even think you've got a nice garden.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Bryson, yeah.
Bryson, yeah.
Oh,
Gardens, pants, Bryson.
Quickly, we're going to look at just ahead to next year. A player to look out for. We're going to pick. Rob, you've gone for a guy, another Spanish guy. Talk about Hidalgo earlier.
Yeah.
This is a youngster who I'm going to be honest. I only started hearing about middle June this year on the Challenge Tour. Who is it for you, Rob?
So Ankel Ayora, his manager is Javier Ballesteros, and he was at the Challenge Tour final, which I went to. Right, so when you watch tournaments at home and you see bits and pieces, you try and keep across everything. You don't get a sense of it, but because I saw him all week long there, and I heard a lot about him, played most of this year as a 19-year-old. He's only just turned 20, and his ceiling is very high. I watched him for 3 days be pretty damn perfect. I mean, the swing, the short game, the power, the putting, all of it. He's got the complete package.
19 years
and
old.
temperament-wise, might be his strongest card. It might be his strongest card. So I think Ankel Ayora, from what I saw, and I'm taking it on 4 days of golf, I was super impressed with him. And when I said Ankel to you, I hadn't looked at the results last week. He finished third last week, I think.
No, he did.
Right, so
yeah.
he finished third first week out in Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He won the Rosa Challenge event on. It's his rookie season on Challenge Tour as well.
He won in
19 years
Poland, I
old.
think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was. But just he looks. A few of the guys who went there, they all said, "Look out for this kid."
He looks like he's a Ryder Cup player in waiting.
Oh,
Yeah, 100%.
bold.
If
Bold
I've
already.
got more chance of Ankel Ayora making the Ryder Cup than David Howell's 1 in 10, who are absolutely going to win a tournament next year on the PGA Tour. I'm 10 to 1 on.
Oh wow. Okay. All right. Yours is a guy also on the Challenge Tour, who won the Challenge Tour. Rasmus Nergaard Peterson, who I've seen a bit on, and has had a bit like Ayora, amazing results already on the DP
Yeah.
World Tour. Why did you go for him, David?
Well, for all the reasons you just said. The only caveat was I thought he was going to go and win in Korea. He got right up
Yes,
to the
he
lead
did.
and had a horrible back nine. Such a bad back nine that you think it was just a blip. I don't think it was anything to do with pressure or anything. It was just maybe he was chasing the victory. But to get to that point so soon in his his journey onto the DP World Tour, he hits the ball a mile. He just looks brilliant to me. Clearly, he's got the winning mindset, no doubt about that. He looks like a worldie to me, and he's Danish. And
I was going to say
they're all
another
brilliant.
Dane.
Team Denmark's good, isn't it?
Yes.
Half the Ryder Cup team's going to be Danish soon.
Yeah.
The Højgaards, Ollesen,
Norgard.
Norgard, possibly one of mine in
Oscar
the future.
Peterson.
Yeah,
No,
they just
I watched him because he and Ankal Ayora went toe to toe
they were the final group.
at the end, and so I watched him closely as well. I mean, he's got a lot of game. He's got a
Who
lot
won
of
out of the two on that occasion?
Well,
My man or your man?
Your man three putted the last green.
he did
Uh,
to lose out.
It would have been a playoff.
Okay.
He three putted the last green.
Iowa just didn't have a great Sunday, did he? Really?
No.
He didn't quite get it going.
He didn't. He
No.
had 3 brilliant days, and then the Sunday wasn't what he wanted. And Nygaard Peterson birdie up the last to win. Perfect tee shot, and then he just knocked it past the hole. He didn't come back down. Then he had a go like that and missed it. And
It wasn't. Yeah.
And then it was all over.
He's gonna do brilliantly.
He will do
If you
brilliant.
win if you win on the Challenge Tour, that's a sign that you can win on the main tour. If you win 3 times, it's pretty special.
John Parry did that, we should say as well on Challenge
John
Tour.
Parry had a wonderful. What a comeback story for him.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, there's so much. Challenge Tour was
He
fantastic.
played well
this
last
season.
week.
He
Down
did.
in Australia as
I know,
well.
yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Oliver Lindell, there's a Finnish player who's playing when we're recording. He's playing very well this week in Australia too. So there's a very good group this year of Challenge Tour players.
16
Six-
Challenge Tour players kept their card on the main tour last year.
out of 20 is.
That is
I'm not sure that's ever been done.
borderline unbelievable. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's ever been done.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I'm going to not talk about Jesper Svensson today as a breakout player because I talk about him nearly every week.
do.
He's the guy I think who's going to win on the PGA Tour next year, Jesper Svensson. He's the one.
He's the one for David.
That's for me. That's the one. So
Okay.
I agree with David in that sense because I think the guy's brilliant and I think he's got all the assets for being a PGA Tour player and the courses out there. I'm not going to talk about him. I want to talk about another Dane. His name's Jakob Skov Olesen. He won the amateur championship this year. Left-hander, went to University of Arkansas. He's had brilliant results already on a few DP World Tour tournaments. 5th in Denmark, made the cut of the Open, came through Q School this year too. And I spoke to him in Switzerland.
Are you still with him?
Yeah.
Yeah, still there.
You hanging on here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very.
Punchline.
Yeah.
This is like one of my stories at 11 in the evening.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Uh,
Anyway.
And that was it.
And then it
But-
was midnight.
Very level-headed. Like him a lot. I think he's got a great game. He's one for me next year, or this year now.
He's your one to watch.
He's my one to watch, yeah,
Okay.
for the DP World Tour this year. So very tall, rangy, left-hander, hits it miles. So Jakob
I
Skov
mean, all
Olesen.
the kids do.
All they
don't
all
Doesn't matter
do.
what size they are. You look
Yeah.
at them.
He's pro now, right?
He is turned pro,
Turned
yeah.
pro now.
He's turned
Yeah,
pro
'cause
now,
he was doing
yeah.
all that as an amateur.
Yeah,
He was
exactly.
getting all that stuff.
Ballyliffin, won at Ballyliffin, the amateur.
Yeah.
Very good. I was going to mention Davis Thompson, who's PGA Tour player, American, who looks excellent. Top 40 in the FedEx. He's about 30th in the world now, Davis Thompson. And there's an amateur called Luke Clanton, who at the moment on the PGA Tour is just pulling up trees as an amateur. He's top 10s all over the shop. So he's another one for me if he turns pro, I think.
How many you got?
That's it.
You got.
I'm
okay,
done.
Okay.
I'm done. Yeah.
Not the whole field.
Yeah.
He's spreading his wings.
Yeah,
with
exactly.
The bets.
Just-
you know?
yeah, exactly.
I told you he'd do well. The other 45 didn't do any good.
I don't think we award that to anyone. I think that's just a little preview for next year, to be honest, I think. Because it's not,
I think the Iora Nygaard Peterson thing might be. It's a thing I'm going to watch during the year.
I think that's a nice thing to look
Yeah,
watch
I'm
out
gonna
for, yeah.
See how they both go.
Yeah.
Because
Nygaard Peterson is top 100 in the world, by the way, now. That's amazing for a guy who's come from Challenge Tour.
That is amazing,
You
you're
can
right.
do that on the Challenge Tour. You
Well,
can
get points for
Yeah.
the winning. If you win anywhere, you get some. Yeah, that's impressive.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that's. Yeah, I'd say probably he is. You know, the body of work he's put in this year. Don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, okay.
A bit weird. A bit like handicaps list in the world rankings. We can't. Don't think too much about them. At the moment.
Nygaard Peterson, is he all that?
Unfortunately, you can't put too much
It's
weight
it's
on
a guide, isn't it?
It's
Yeah.
a general guide.
It's a guide.
Yeah.
As is winning 3 times. He's pretty good.
He is
He's
pretty.
pretty
He
good,
is
yeah.
pretty.
He can play.
He is pretty good. Okay, funny moment of the year. Sometimes these are hard to find within 12 months. There's a couple here. There's one particularly, which all 3 of us absolutely love, and we're going to save it to the end. I had a few. I asked you out on X, people, to send suggestions. Jonathan Ditt said, "Hi Josh, I like the rules official at Cron reminding Matt Wallace and Beef that he was in charge." That was excellent. I haven't got the clip for that, but that's very good. You can find that on X. One of my suggestions, and I love this. President's Cup this year was, I thought, insanely good, mainly for Siwoo Kim and Tom Kim. And Siwoo Kim was absolutely brilliant. This was a putt, I want to say Saturday morning. I'm not sure I've ever seen anyone walk in a putt, take a cap off so early to win a match for Siwoo Kim and Tom Kim. That was brilliant. These two were electric. And then the 16th hole on Saturday evening. If you've not seen this, everyone, this is just a great shot. And then the celebration. So he's a big basketball fan, Tom Siwoo Kim, and that's an ode to his hero Steph Curry. It's a night celebration. That caused a bit of an uproar everywhere, but just, I don't know, it's great to see. It made me laugh. It's just such a fantastic celebration. There he goes.
I think Tom Kim, right? I think Tom Kim.
It's so great.
He was going so nuts of the first. I think he was given the. You just need to tone this down a little bit. I thought he was borderline over the top.
Do you? Tom?
I did.
Tom Kim is a little, I think, I've got to be honest. Well, the one thing, great moment, amazing shot by the way.
That was,
But Tom Kim, this thing where people moan about the not being given putts that are of a certain length, Tom Kim did that. I'm not a fan of that.
These are meant to be funny moments. This is light-hearted.
You know what I mean?
What you mean?
When you complain, you expect it to be given.
No, putt out.
I'm not a fan of
No,
that.
putt out.
Pantomime, not cool. Not cool.
But Siwoo, I thought was cool. I loved Siwoo in those 3 days. The night celebration, I loved.
I see my boys play, but that's what they're doing.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, no. You're telling me that's a Steph Curry thing.
Yeah,
got you.
Right, there we go. Every day to school day.
Yeah.
David. There we go.
Quick.
You go, stop swearing, boys, and they go like that.
We watched their first match the other day. I know this is a golf podcast, but Sam, my boy, loves it. He wants to be Steph Curry, and we watched his first match ever the other day. And he got thrown. He came on after 4 minutes, as did his brother Charlie. And he got thrown the ball, and he looked like Steph Curry. He dribbled through the entire team. Faked, pumped, this, that, and the other. Literally, the other team were almost falling over. He was so brilliant. And as he went to shoot, all the adults in the room shouted, "Wrong end!" Poor lad. That was his opening gambit as a competitive basketball player. Sorry, Sam. I don't know if it's going to make the edit, but if it is,
that's staying in.
It was lucky he didn't score. It bounced off the rim.
Lord.
Called out by Dad. That's staying in. Oh, don't worry, that's staying in the show, David. Excellent.
Good night,
Daddy. Okay, this is going to win funniest moment of the year. We've probably, me and Rob have seen this clip, I reckon, 50 times each, Rob?
Probably.
Yeah, I think so. So this was at the...
Charlie Hull, by the way, with the cigarette, and I thought that was very funny.
That was a brilliant moment.
Darts. Who knew it was called a dart?
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah, with Dan
That
Brown
was
at the
so
Open.
funny.
That was so very iconic, I thought. I loved that. Charlie's been great this year for so many reasons. On the course, off the course, she's been fantastic. This was at the Andalusia Masters. So on the DP World Tour, everyone, we're really lucky because some of the players, after their round, are invited to come into the commentary box and do a bit of commentary for 20, 30 minutes and sit alongside the guys or the girls, Ali Whittaker, Inti, everyone there, to have a chat, see how the round's gone, how the course is playing.
See what he did there? See what he did? He rescued that, didn't he?
Yes, a little.
He rescued that.
Well done.
Very good.
Excellent digging.
Josh, very good.
Thank you very much. So, Alejandro, this is in Andalusia. Alejandro Del Rey is coming into the commentary box. He's due to come into the commentary box, okay? And there was a little bit of confusion, I'm going to say. Richard Kaufman's he's doing the lead commentary. And the DP World Tour, there was a bit of a mix-up, I'm just going to say. So I'm going to play this clip in, and we're going to enjoy it once again.
Thank you, Anthony. Delighted to say we have a guest in the commentary box, day 3 of this Estrella Damm Andalucía Masters, Alejandro Del Rey.
I am Sebastián García.
Well, I was told Alejandro Del Rey was coming. That's very embarrassing, isn't it? Sebastián García Rodriguez, good to see you.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
The other guy said to you, "Hello, Alex," when you walked in.
Yeah, I know. I tell me. But
you were too polite to them, but when we're on air now, I'm blushing.
Listen, don't worry, he does that to everyone, seriously.
Don't worry, but yeah, I am Sebastián García, don't worry.
That's okay.
That has to go out on something like It'll Be Alright on the Night. That is sensational.
I'm not going to live that down, am I, Boxy?
No, you're not.
Okay.
That was one of the
I was
funniest
throwing a
moments I've
dummy.
seen.
You said,
Yeah,
when you came in, what did you say to him?
I said, "Hello, Sebastian, how are you doing?"
You did not.
Oh dear, that is absolutely gold. We know. I mean, we can't see Boxy. He would have been in tears there, I'm assuming.
You could hear the sound of the
Oh,
truck backing
dear.
up. It was going, gee, 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 gee. It was just, Kaufman's pain there when he realised he got
I
it
know,
wrong.
yeah.
It was the best.
Oh, it's the pause before he says, "I am Sebastián García." It feels like 5 minutes. I mean, it's only 3 seconds. Oh, that's so funny. That is so funny, isn't
You can't
it?
say it, can you?
No.
Oh, it's done. Oh,
By the way, Rich, we love you. We love you. But I asked Rich if he could check to play that clip, and he was fine with it. But yeah, he was thrown a bit of a dummy by the DP World Tour there. That was hilarious. That wins,
very
doesn't it?
funny.
The award. Should we give it to Rich? I'm tempted to give it to Rich.
Well, Rich, Bryson, and Nelly, they'll all be coming to your coffee morning, won't they? So,
What a
they'll
three-ball
all be
that
there.
is.
I tell you which one of the three I think has got more of a chance of turning up. And it's not the American.
Oh dear, Rich, that was absolutely fantastic for I guess all the wrong reasons, but that was absolutely brilliant. Okay, moment of the year. This is quite a big category because this could cover so many things. Okay, I asked you, you kind of gave me a few different things. I think we should start with Bob in Canada, shouldn't we? This was a huge moment, really. First got to win on the PJ Tour since I think Martin Laird about 4 or 5 years ago. It wasn't just the win, David. His dad, Doogie, on the bag as an emergency caddy. Just absolutely brilliant.
Not a dry eye in the house. Absolutely amazing television. What a sporting moment that was. And what's the chances? Your dad comes out, carries the bag, and you win. I mean, just amazing.
Yeah, it was amazing.
And his dad, Doogie, when he did the interview afterwards with Amanda, Doogie said, "I'm just a grass cutter,"
Yeah.
and I welled up at that. There was something very emotional about that. I loved it. It was very real.
Yeah,
very real.
Steeped in golf, and there's his son, just achieving one of his life dreams, win on the PGA Tour. What a fantastic tournament, a good one.
Oh, Canada's
brilliant.
That's turned, yeah,
I mean, the 75-footer last
Nick
year.
Taylor, yeah.
There's a lot of tournaments that don't quite live up to their billing, sadly.
They
but
get lucky in Canada. It's always a good story.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It really was. You wouldn't think you could beat that, would you?
I know. Well, 12 months after Heartache at the Renaissance, we're back to Bob here. He went one better. I mean, a remarkable last few holes. 16 with the eagle. We haven't got that shot. I've forgotten about shot of the year. That second at 16 when he got the ruling. But this putt was incredible, Rob. The atmosphere, everything about this, Rob, considering what happened 12 months ago, brilliant.
Well, it was. I mean, he'd, in front of his people, put right what happened the year before, to be honest, when Rory, in a 35-mile-an-hour gale, managed to make 2 at 17 and a 3 at the last.
Bob's face there, just look at that. I love that high mode. One of my shot.
It was 12 months, and he felt the balm of a win in Scotland. So he's had some wonderful moments this year, hasn't he?
Been incredible. There's a journalist called James Colgan. He wrote a lovely article about this. And he said, "It's tempting to describe the noise that followed Bob McIntyre's Scottish Open winning putt as a roar, but the truth is that it was not a roar, it was a release. The people who cheered McIntyre were not screaming, but heaving, belting with all the energy and catharsis of a foolish dream realised." Really nice, that, I thought. And that was a great moment, that, from Bob, wasn't it, David?
It really was.
Yeah.
The sort of thing I'd write. Not. I mean, lovely words.
Yeah.
Yeah, really were. Oh, it was just, I mean, just incredible. Scotsman at home doing it in that manner with the putt and to hold the putt.
You know, of all the tournaments you try and win,
that's
right?
it.
You know, there's luck involved in that because you try and win every week. You don't win every week, and the golfing gods 1 year later gave Robert McIntyre the win in Scotland in front of his people and the crowd.
And he's such a proud Scot. He's such a proud Scot.
Of course, he's a proud Scot.
So,
Open boy, isn't he?
Yeah,
you know,
brilliant.
there's a certain amount of serendipity and things like that because it doesn't have to happen. He could have won in Morocco. He could have won in anywhere.
Who was the player on the balcony that was waving and cheering away? Was it Thigala, I think?
Yes, it was Thigala. Yes, he's hung around and watched.
He was watching, and it was just such an amazing. Not often you see another player, cheering. He's got no, link to Bob, has he? He was just caught up in the emotion of what a sporting moment that he produced.
That was.
He was across. He played at Queenwood, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, he came down. Yeah.
Came down and played the Queenwood Cup.
We had a coffee with him.
So,
did you?
Yeah.
Nice guy. Rob, you're one. We're going back to the Challenge Tour here.
We are.
Lucas Bjerregaard. This is a guy who in 2019 beat Tiger at the match play. He was 52 in the world.
Yeah.
And then he basically, I don't know what he did, Rob. Don't know, trying to change his game. His game just went to bits.
He looked every inch a superstar when he first came to prominence.
Yeah.
And then he's been in the wilderness, and you can see there's Niergaard Peterson.
This is after the Challenge Tour Grand Final.
Little Team Denmark here, after the Challenge Tour final. Now you've got to imagine what it must have been like for him. when he handed his card in, probably 3 or 4 hours before the
Exactly.
tournament was over, he was the guy getting the last card. Other people were out there with nearly a whole round to play, and I'm sure when he finished, he thought, people are going to start bouncing over me. I'll be knocked out. And he went away, I think, with his wife and got away from it, turned the phone off, just to try and just get through a couple of hours at least before we come back and see how we're doing. And he was outside. He had been bumped out. And at the very end, then he bumped in and became the last card holder for the new 25 season. And you could see in his face there, I mean, he must have been in bits. Absolute bits. And we talk about, you see Bob McIntyre in the pictures before. That's pure joy and elation from winning. It's a very different joy and elation when you know you've survived and you've got a card and you've got a job next year.
Waiting all that time is the thing as well. That must have just
so
been
much harder.
The Challenge Tour is an amazing tour. You know, it's an amazing leg up, isn't it? But as it happens, I played a Challenge Tour event in the Middle East the start of last year. So what was that, 2023?
23.
I kind of had a bit of a dual ranking situation going, and I went and I played with Lucas
Okay.
at Abu Dhabi Golf Club and Joel Scholholm. And you're carrying your own bag. It's everything the tour's not.
Yeah.
You know, and it's hard for the guys who've been on tour for many years.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, top 50 in the world, just about beat Tiger, class player. A bit like Manacera, lose your way, and it's a big, it's a steep fall down
unforgiving,
to there.
yeah.
Some bounce back, many don't.
Yeah.
And he's been through the mill for a couple of years. Brilliant to see him back.
Yeah.
So maybe this is this could be the next Manacero.
Exactly.
He could be on the
Great
start
shout.
of that
Great
because
shout.
he's got a lot of game and he's got a lot of power. So listen, he still didn't play the golf he wanted to or that he knew he could play, but it was good enough to get back on the ladder. So let's hope the rungs get short as he gets towards the top and he can start a real rise up the world rankings.
Yeah, absolutely. Good on Lucas Bjerregaard.
Yeah.
We've not even mentioned the world #1 Scotty Scheffler yet. And this isn't even about golf. The PGA Championship was wild. He got 8 and 8 spot. Great. He had his first kid was that week as well. But it's not either of those we're talking about. It's when he got arrested on the grounds of Valhalla. There was an accident. A guy was tragically killed just outside the gates. There were some traffic flow problems, and Scheffler tried to get in the course, got caught up. He was arrested. He was detained by a police officer. Scheffler was later charged with 4 offences. Those have now been dropped, I should say.
Surprise.
Yeah. But I thought this was a joke at first when I heard this. I mean, this is such a wild. Look at that rap sheet. There's Scheffler's face in the orange jumpsuit.
I wouldn't, with today's lies and AI, if I saw that on someone's tweet, I wouldn't believe that.
It's
I'm saying
unbelievable.
that's a fake news.
I know.
Yeah. And how was it that he managed to do some stretching in his jail cell?
So this
still
is
think I
from-
might be able to get out onto the back to the links. Gets out, gets on, and plays well. I think to recall, it was remarkable.
It was.
It was all delayed because of the accident.
Of course, yeah.
So there was a bit of delay, which played in his favour. Those
They had a bit of shades of Rory McIlroy turning up late to the Ryder Cup. Getting a police escort. I was getting flashbacks of that there.
Yeah. But he was watching himself in the news in the cell on the news. He was watching himself and then doing the stretching routine, and then eventually got released. And he shot. What did he shoot that day? It was like 67.
Yeah, it was a good round.
Something like that.
About that. Yeah.
I don't remember what he shot.
It was
a good round. The next
wasn't
day.
that round that took him out of it.
It was the next day.
Ted Scott
Yeah.
off to see
That was
his
it.
child's graduation, and he had a disaster
That's
that
it.
day, didn't he? All sort of caught up with him. Amazing.
But that moment, I can't remember anything as crazy as that's happened in a long, long time.
No, it was bizarre. Bizarre.
Bizarre is a great word.
It's
Yeah.
bizarre. It was bizarre that the guy took umbrage. He crawled around at no miles an hour like they were meant to. There's only one gate in. There's nothing else he could do.
And you do have a little bit of that when you're golf with the golfer's badge. You think he's the best player in the world. All the security is to keep everyone else out so that he can get in. That's kind of how it works, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, not the big I am, but that is what it's set up. It's to let
Look, he's got to
Scotty
get in.
and his
He's got to get in. He has to get in.
Everyone,
Yeah.
No, trust me, he needs to be in.
Yeah.
I need to be, and it just didn't work out well for him.
No.
Who are
Not
you?
great.
World #1. Really?
Just
Oh,
being walked away there by the
yeah.
police officers
Yeah.
was an absolute wild
I wonder
moment
what
there.
the policeman's friends that night. You did what?
Yeah.
You honestly you thought really you don't know Scottish? No, you don't. Oh, okay, you don't
Yeah.
know. Oh.
incredible.
Yeah, amazing.
Well, I just what amazing moment. Not just this year, the last I don't know 20 years. I can't remember a moment like that.
It was amateur hour from the police
Oh,
department.
it was. Anyway, it's just very strange. Back on the course. This is probably mine. I did the voiceover for this at Sky. Lynn Grant won the Scandinavian mix this year, everyone. That's not the story. It's Sebastian Soderberg. He had an 8-shot lead at the start of the day on Sunday, 11 shots over Lynn Grant, and it whittled away slowly on Sunday. On the 18th, he just needed a bogey to go to a playoff. That was for par to win it outright. Left it to, what's that, foot and a half?
A couple of feet, probably.
Yeah. And then, it was... Yeah, Lynn Grant was on the range.
Thing is, he hit a beautiful drive.
He did. He hit the best shot he probably hit in 3 hours, that drive. And then there's a bunker on the right of 18. Just don't go right. And he had 7-8 iron, hit it into the bunker. And then this is him in the scorer's hut. And I think it just hits him here. It's just like, okay, there's Joel Schoholm, the players' relations guy. And it's just, I just don't think Sebastian had really understood what happened. It came back to me in the voiceover booth. I didn't know what to say. I genuinely didn't know what to say. And I said, look, I should know what to say in this position. I said, I'm afraid I don't. It's just one of those really shocking moments that Keimer had it. Remember Keimer had that, was it Abu Dhabi or Dubai? He had a 10-shot lead.
Yeah.
But that was in Sweden, Soderberg Swedish, if you don't know everyone. And that would have hurt him for quite a few weeks after, Rob, I think.
Oh, no,
it's not would have. It still is, and it will probably forever.
It was a slow accident happening on the back. It was like a slow-moving accident.
Tough conditions. The wind picked up.
My memory, she chipped in at the last.
Correct, she did.
Not trying to win.
No.
Just a good finish, chip in. I'm not going to win. And it was one of those nice moments for her. And then as, they started to run out of holes in the back nine, getting closer, I better go and practice. Didn't have to go extra time. It was do you know what? Golf's hard, and he shouldn't be too hard on himself. Crap like that happens when you're a player. Sometimes you can't control it. We're all control freaks because we like to control how we're playing, and we like to control the scorecard, and we want to be in charge of it and bossing it. Golf's not like that. Sometimes it's out of your control, and you play a little bit out of control, and you just got to listen, suck it up, own it, move on.
Remember when Stuart Pearce scored in the penalty in the qualifiers of the World Cup, having missed, and he'd lived with all that for so many years. The guy that missed.
Yeah.
When he wins next time, that's going to be an amazing moment.
He's already winning. He won in Cron. When it was 2 years ago. But when the next one,
when he wins the next one, that emotion will come.
Because he's a brilliant player.
Again.
He's been so many times this year. He's been up there
all the time.
And he just missed out on his PGA Tour card, we should say as well. He didn't have a great Tour Championship, but that was just a shocking moment, shall we say, of the year. What are we going? That's the last one. Who do we think is moment of the year? There's a few there. I mean, Scheffler still, just for the bonkers nature of it. Bob, the year Bob's had. It's a hard one to pick, really. I always think moment.
Do you
of
want
the year.
us to pick now?
Yeah, I think you two.
Now you want us to be
now you
involved.
two. You've had a moan at me earlier. Come on, between you.
I'd go with Bryson.
Oh, out of all of it, not just those ones we've just had, but you're going to go for the overall. You're going to pick Bryson's bunker shot as your moment of the year.
And winning the US Open over Rory at Pinehurst in that fashion and everything that was. I thought that.
Well, let's have another look, shall we? Is David's?
Possibly.
This is David's one. I don't think Rob's so sure about this as your moment of the year.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of things in his favour there with the long bunker shot, that length. Well, there was. Yeah.
No, I'm with you, but thinking of the other majors, and has won the Open and the USPGA, but not in this fashion. This was got to happen now. Seismic moment. It's Bryson versus Rory.
That's a great shot, that, isn't it?
That angle is fantastic. Yeah, it is fantastic.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, Rob.
Lots of energy at the end because he's normally only playing 3 rounds.
Rob,
and it was the tournament that brought sort of him back into our consciousness in the mainstream golf world, isn't it? Which was like, hang on a minute, these guys are good to have around in the right way, and it was good.
Bryson brings a lot.
Yeah,
he brings a lot. He does.
Any from the last category we had, Rob, moments there from Bob, Bjerregaard, Scheffler, Soderberg. Look, there's ones we've missed, everyone. I know that.
The Scheffler one's not a moment of the year. It's just bizarre. The bizarre moment of the year. That's what that is. Moment of the year.
I mean, Bob's 2 wins are pretty special.
I'd probably give it to I'd probably give it to Bob in Canada. The way that
Yeah.
whole thing unfolded
With his
Maybe.
dad there.
and his dad was with him. And his dad was just Bob was walking 50 yards there, 50 yards there, doing all the yardages. I mean, Dad was just carrying the bag really.
Yeah.
He was, and it was taking Bob a long time to get stuff done to play. And then the emotional nature of the win.
It wasn't great for all the caddies out there that play a huge role most weeks in their players' performances. It's good and
Well, they
bad.
think they do.
Well,
They
indeed.
think they do.
Just carry the bag.
Just one of the great lines when we used to play golf is the question is to the caddy that you met in the putting green, whatever. Who are you ripping off this week? That's, player speak. That's player caddy banter.
Yeah.
Listen. If you've got a great caddy, it's a massive help to you. It is.
Ted Scott.
But
is a great example.
as you know, you can go out with your pencil bag and shoot 62 on your own. You can do it all yourself. And Bob won. Essentially, his dad keeping him calm, I would think, and not letting him get ahead of himself. But he won essentially on his own.
It was one and done week for Doogie. He was home on Monday.
Yeah.
Picked up his 10%. Thanks very much.
It was for a lot of reasons. It was a great moment.
Yeah. I just want to go on to just a very quick look ahead to next year. I just wanted any predictions you have for next year. Any thoughts on next year? I mean, this covers a lot, and we're already running over on time. But this
I'll
covers
give you a question for next year.
a question.
Yeah.
Okay, go on.
So at the end of next year, is Scotty Scheffler world number one?
You put that one on us.
Oh, I'd say probably, yeah.
I would say yes
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Why do you ask that question, Rob?
Because staying at number one is notoriously difficult. Now he's had a very dominant season. Will it continue? He's a very much oh shucks, oh gosh. But I did see him get ratty a few times this year and slamming the club, and when things were just a little bit off, because he was so used to it being fantastic, he didn't have to get grumpy. He can get grumpy. I don't know. We'll see.
Green jacket hat trick he's on for this year as well, Scotty.
Yeah, I know. Green jacket hat trick.
In however many years? 3-4 years? 3 years?
Yeah, his rise has been the great thing that Scotty Scheffler has is the gap between his ears is really he's got it all. He's got all his ducks in a row, and he doesn't overcomplicate things, and he doesn't the self nonsense that we all are guilty of, David.
Indeed.
Can get in your way, and he doesn't get in his own way. So he's been a remarkable golfer this year. So can he keep it going for another 12 months? I don't know. I just threw the question at you.
I throw it's not a question, but I have a vision. I just have a vision.
What,
Are we back at the Masters?
No. We're at Bethpage.
I'd ride a cup. I'd ride a cup written down.
And Luke is lifting that trophy.
Oh, you think?
Oh, wouldn't that be?
I mean,
amazing?
So let me tell you, I played Bethpage about 3 weeks ago.
Yes.
And have you played Bethpage?
I have, yes. I played the US Open there.
It is not an easy golf course.
No, it wasn't not from where I played it.
Understood. On those holes at Dogleg, if you missed on the long part of the Dogleg, it's just so.
Which I did.
It's just so far. But I spent a week with my best friend Vincent and my brother Simon in amongst New Yorkers and people from New Jersey, and it is going to be febrile when we get to Bethpage on Long Island in just under a year's time. It's going to be absolute madness. And,
it could be an all-timer, I reckon, this Ryder Cup.
And ticket sales, by the way, are overwhelmingly in favour. Like 90% have been sold in America. So there's going to be an awful lot of New Yorkers, rowdy people there. If Luke lifts that trophy, and by the way, I think
There'd be 4 people watching
I think if we could choose any captain in the whole wide world to take a team to New York, you couldn't come up with anyone better than Luke.
Yeah.
Got Rory going for the green jacket. I'm not going to mention
Rory wins a major next year. That's my prediction.
And where's he going back to at the PGA? Quail Hollow.
Loves that golf course.
Loves that golf course.
Loves that golf course. But
so-
I think. Look, even if you just a strokes gained genius and you are a number cruncher, eventually, if you are the best or amongst the best players in the world and you're there all the time, at some point, the cards and the dice are going to roll in your favour. And I think Rory's going to. I think Rory wins one. He wins another 3 or 4.
Okay.
Port Rush, right?
Correct.
Next year.
Yeah.
I bet he doesn't drive off the first this year.
He didn't the last time.
Oh, did he not? I can't
No,
remember
he
what
had
it was.
4 iron or
Was
something.
it?
Yeah,
Was it?
yeah, he didn't hit driver, he hit iron out of
I can't
bounds.
remember. No, he can't have done.
He
Was it?
did. It's no one hit driver up there.
I was on course commentating with him. I was up by the green.
Couldn't see it.
No, there was.
That's how bad my memory
It's
is.
just an iron off the tee, isn't it? That hole.
I don't know what he hit off the tee.
Someone else want to talk major golf. For me, Charlie Hull wins a major next
I'm gonna
year.
have to go back and check that now because in my
Yeah, I
head
know.
he's hit an iron out of bounds.
Yeah, I think you might be right, Rob. I got a feeling you're right. I think Charlie Hull wins a major next year. I think it's about time. She has been so close. Her golf is ridiculous. She is up there with the.
All right, if it's a major or not a major, but she needs to win more.
Correct.
She
Of
needs to win
course.
on the
Of course she
LPGA
does.
Tour, regular events. She needs to be knocking some of those off.
Of course she does.
Because you know they've got 5 majors in the women's game, and it's hard to peak in a given week. And you tend to win majors because you're winning other tournaments, unless it's a rarity. So she needs to concentrate on that.
Yeah.
Majors come along when they come along. Win more often.
She's working hard. She's in the gym at cocktails all the time.
She's a gym bunny.
She's
Yeah.
I mean, which is great, and she's adding that in.
But she's right. It's good for her mental health.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think all the off-course stuff she spoke about this year, I think has actually helped her on the course as well. Just almost like a release. And she's been great off the course with signing all the autographs. How she's been, she is great. She is great for the game. And I've had messages from like people I've met at the Open, and they've said to me they're young girls, they're 15, 16, saying how Charlie is an icon for them. They look up to Charlie and what she does and how
They've
she
got a
plays
20 a
the
day
game.
habit now, have they?
But I think she's very important
on the vapes, on the vapes.
Yeah, she's very important for the women's game.
No,
Charlie,
I think
incredibly
she's
important.
she is unique.
Yeah.
There's no one else like Charlie, not even in the men's game.
Yeah.
She is unique and it's a lot of fun to watch. And like I say, as a player, as a competitor, she needs to find a way that can get her across the line more often.
Yeah.
So she'll be playing LPGA all year next year. So
Exactly,
yeah,
she'll be.
let's hope she gets across there. Well, it might be a major. Who knows?
It could be a major.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. There's 5 of them. Remember in the women's game too. I think we've covered 2024. What do you think? I think we've done nearly everything.
I think, yeah, pretty much. I'm not sure what else we left out there. I mean, I can
There'll be
only think that along with Bryson and Nelly, it's now Charlie that's turning up.
and Richard Kaufman.
And Richard Kaufman.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What a football that's going to be. Guys,
25% turn up rate.
if that.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much. Really appreciate you coming in. I'm going to say Merry Christmas. I'm going to say Merry Christmas.
Are you? You're going early, man.
I'm going early. We're recording this the end of November, everyone, by the way. So, but I'm going to say Merry Christmas now.
Okay.
Yeah. Have a good rest of the year. There's still golf to be played.
What'd you get me?
Coffee. The coffee shop.
Oh, Dave, what a letdown.
What a
Big
letdown.
build up and nothing at the end.
Dave, great to see you.
Lovely to be
We're
in.
actually us 3 are going to the Ned Bank in a few days' time, so we're going to look forward to that. Bit of winter sunshine at the Ned Bank. Should be good. So thank you very much, guys, for coming in. Thanks, everyone, for watching, listening, however you're seeing this. It's been a brilliant 2024, and we'll see you next year. Bye for now.